All right, everybody, welcome. Good evening. And here we are for the final time in 2020, the Below the Yellow Line podcast. Welcome to episode 91. I'm your host, Joe Andy Pablan. I have my colleagues Justin and Danny here. Danny will join us shortly. Justin Heber, how's it going?
It's
Merry
good.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Hopefully you enjoyed your holidays, everybody. Yeah.
What you do for this year? And
Uh, I went to my uncle's house, and on Christmas I went to my grandparents on the Thursday on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. I stay home and watch football, watch all the bowl games.
Yeah.
Basketball's back. Hockey back in 2 weeks. We have the World Junior Championships going on right now.
Yeah.
Great game between Czech Republic and Russia, and how Czech beat Russia and hung on to an upset win. It looked like they won the Stanley Cup. How they celebrated.
Well, it's not compared to. Well, it's Slovakia. That was a close game for Canada, except the Germany game where they won 16-2, which is you don't expect to hear a 16-2 win, but it was interesting.
I think everybody's enjoying, the holidays and this time of year. But in terms of motorsports, it's been a short off season as a whole.
Yeah, because I've been noticing that as of today, 48 days till the Daytona 500, and we're almost in 2021. Like, the last race, big race that we cover was F1, December 13th, which was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's going by fast. We're almost in January.
We'll be in January in no time. And
yeah, Friday, January 1st.
Right. Rally fans out there, the first event in 2021 will be the Dakar on the 3rd of January. But the off season for pretty much everybody else is going on as we speak. On the 14th and 16th, we'll have the Dubai 24 Hours, the first major sports car race of the new year. The Chili Bowl Nationals, they just announced a mask mandate for the Tulsa Expo Center.
Yeah.
So better get those masks. You can't get away with it like you did at the Snowball Derby a few weeks ago.
Well, yeah, it's really strict. It's like Ian posted on his Facebook, stop complaining, put your mask if you want to go to the Chili Bowl. It's like the Chili Bowl dirt race, one of the biggest dirt races. It's like a crown jewel dirt race if people don't know. It's
over 200 entries.
We're almost at 300 entries as of today, which was the last time the entry list updated, but there are big names on that entry list.
We will cover what to expect for the Chili Bowl and the rest of the big race when we go on later into the podcast. But about the upcoming events for 2021, we know that the Formula E calendar was supposed to start in Chile for the Santiago E-Prix. That weekend has been postponed, according to the FIA. 24 Hours at Daytona will be a 2-week event. The qualifying rounds, 100 minutes for the qualifying race, will be introduced for the first time in the event's history 1 week preceding the Rolex 24, which will be on the 30th and 31st of January. The Asian Law Series on the 4th of February through the entire month, all held at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. The FIA World Rally Championship begins with the Classic Rally Monte Carlo event on the 21st of January. But in the end, everybody wants to rest. I think break is more than needed for these teams, these drivers, these mechanics, crew members, everybody that work twice as hard just to make it to the track. And now they have a few things we'll discuss in this podcast. We'll begin with sports car racing. Narain Karthikeyan, the 2010 NASCAR Truck Series most popular driver, who became the first Indian-born driver to race in a Formula One Grand Prix, has formed Racing Team India, an LMP2 program set to begin in the Asian Le Mans Series in February of next year. Well, next year, I mean, like 2 months from now.
Yeah.
But Narain Karthikeyan, welcome back to Motorsport. We'll have I think it's 3 drivers will be on the team for the LMP2. The Asian Le Mans Series will look a lot different. It's unfortunate that that we don't have the usual Asian Le Mans calendar that we have, but it's a 4-race with double headers each weekend, the 4th through 6th, and then the 19th to 20th of February. All at Abu Dhabi. Should be fun. We have a lot of GT3s, LMP3s, LMP2s. LMP2s will be competing for the overall one. But yeah, Racing Team India will have Naveen Rao and Arjun Maini. Maini raced in Formula 2 with Trident and Campos in the past and finished 16th in the championship, actually, it was 2 years ago. Not a bad stat. Speaking of LMP2 racing, Ja Van Utier and Phil Hansen will join forces as the driving pair for defending champions in the European Le Mans Series, United Autosports. United Autosports had a stellar 2020 season in LMP2 racing and LMP3 racing as the team won almost the entire schedule. Almost. They were nearly undefeated until the final race at Portimao when all of a sudden strategy went the opposite way. Even though they won the championship, the undefeated season has never been accomplished in modern history, except for other circumstances like teams where only Toyota Gazoo Racing might be present as a factory team. But competitively, they did a brilliant job. They won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in LMP2 class this year. Speaking of sports car racing, Aston Martin Racing, one of the original World Endurance Championship teams during the inception season of 2012, ceased factory production in the team. They didn't cease the team. They ceased their factory. Team in the GT Pro class, which featured the champions of Nicky Tim and Marco Sorensen from this year in the World Endurance Championship for the GTE drivers. They will continue on with customer-built teams for Aston Martin Racing and possibly invest in the privateer category, which is the GTE AM class. But again, LMGTE Racing is in a downward spiral. BMW scaled back. They're supposed to scale back more after the Rolex 24. We had a very low count in GTLM class cars during the IMSA WeatherTech Championship this past year. Porsche, they're on their way out of North America, but remain at the World Endurance Championship, of course, with their stack load of drivers. We know where Porsche is going in about 3 years' time when they bring back their overall winning program, which last happened in 2017 when they won their 19th record-setting win of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So hypercar, bright future. GTE racing, still in question. Maybe the GT3 cars need to move up to the higher level of Grand Touring racing in sports cars. Only time will tell. Technology changing might have an effect on sports car racing. We saw that 8 years ago when we went from diesels to hybrid-powered cars in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Audi's big jump, that was a major story on its own 8 years ago. Now it's the norm. Everyone seems to have a chunk of hybrid power in their cars, some source of electric power.
Yeah.
Formula One is there. It's been here for 6 years, the turbo hybrid era. Now Formula E is born. And I guess I think it's time to say, as you know me, I hate to say this, but it's time to say goodbye to the H-pattern shifter in NASCAR to a year from now.
Yeah, it's like people are always saying, "Oh, I don't like hybrids. I'm going to drive my diesel truck everywhere I go." I'm like, you know that your truck is not going to last forever. Like you can't have it's the same thing. People think you could keep the same car forever, but it's like there's new technology developing. You're not going to use an old 1960 Chevrolet in 2030. It's going to be a 70-year-old car.
So what we learned with sports car racing, the teams that are in the Asia Le Mans series, I do want to go back into the Asia Le Mans series lineups that are confirmed. I'm reading off Wikipedia, which is a bad idea, but it's nicely organized. I say what I do, and I do what I say. LMP2 teams will include Phoenix Racing, a very successful team in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. They'll bring a record. They already have their lineup.
Yeah, not Phoenix Racing. That wasn't NASCAR. Not them. Don't get confused with that.
No, not James Finch. James Finch, very respectable gentleman and a team owner who invested in NASCAR. But Phoenix Racing, of course, the German Phoenix Racing, owned by Ernst Mosner.
Yeah.
They have their 4 drivers confirmed already, including GT driving champion Nicky Tim, the Danish driver who won the championship for Aston Martin Racing in the GTE Pro Class this past year in the World Endurance Championship. He'll be joined with Kelvin van der Linde, Matthias Kaiser, and Simon Trumer. Simon Trumer, part of the LMP2 championship lineup in IMSA for PR1 Matheson Motorsports.
Yeah.
We do have Euro International Jets.
No drivers confirmed.
No drivers confirmed. Era Motorsport has 2 drivers on Joda Sport, a big time team in LMP2 racing. They'll be there. G Drive Racing will be powered by APR. Their 2 cars are confirmed. And Racing Team India, as we mentioned, just announced newly formed team with their 3 drivers. We have Orekas, Ligiers, and the Auroras, of course, the Auroras with G Drive Racing.
Yeah, Racing Team India has their number 64 entry. LMP3, checking here, United Autosports have their number 2 entry, confirmed of Andrew Bentley, Jim McQuire, Duncan Tappy, while the 3 has Robert Weldon, Ian Luggy, and Andy Mayrick, confirmed the 3. But they also have a 3rd entry, the number 23, with unconfirmed drivers for now. Phoenix Racing, their number 4 entry. That's also unknown.
Nielsen Brown is all in with this.
Nielsen Racing, running the 8 and 9, unknown drivers. RLR M Sport, running the 15 with unknown drivers. CD Sport will run 3 drivers in their 33 entry with Nick Adcock, Adam Itake, and Michael Jensen. And then ARC
Bratislava. I haven't heard that team in a while.
Yep, they're running their number 44 entry with unknown drivers, and DKR Engineering running unknown number and unknown drivers for now. But then the GT3 class.
Hey, Danny. Sorry to interrupt you. We've brought Danny on to the podcast. Merry Christmas, bro.
Hey, guys. Hey, thank you. Merry Christmas, all.
Yeah.
How have you guys spent the holidays? You guys are all good?
Yeah. I've been good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in
so what you were guys talking about here?
The lineups for the Asian Le Mans series that is confirmed. 4 race calendar, February of 2021. All races held at Yas Marina Circuit. 2 double headers, the 4th and 6th of February, and the second half being on the 19th and 20th of February for 2021.
I'm looking at
it's a short season.
GT3s. We were just about to mention all the GT3s.
We have Hub Auto Racing, number 1,
Yes.
with unknown drivers. Then we had Inception Racing with Optimum Motorsports with their McLaren 720S GT3, driven by Brendan Iribe, Ollie Milroy, and a TBA driver. Then we have GPX Racing's Porsche 911
X
Vince GT3R, number 12 with unknown drivers. Walking Horse will have the 3435 BMW with also unknown drivers. AF Corsa will run 2 entries with the 51 so far confirming Oswaldo Negri Jr. and Francesco Pivonetti, and then another TBA driver in that 51, and the 52 has.
Ferrari program.
And then we got
AF
after
Corsa.
Rinaldi Racing, running a Ferrari 488 GT3, has their 2 entries unconfirmed with the 55 and 66. Formula Racing in a Ferrari with Johnny Lawson, Nicholas Nielsen, and Frederick Poulsen in the number 60. D Station Racing has confirmed in their Aston Martin Vantage AMR GT3 has confirmed Tomonobu Fuji, Tom Gamble, and Satoshi Hoshino in their 70.
Wow, since Tom Gamble drove in motorsport. How about Absolute Racing? The Chinese-based team will bring 2 cars. No manufacturer confirmed.
Yeah, 91.
Herbert Motorsports, they're coming back. 2 cars. TBA drivers, most likely going to be their factory Porsche drivers.
TF Sport.
I think TF Sport. Aston Martin.
95 entry of Charlie Eastwood, Ollie Hancock, and John Hartzum. And then you have Oman Racing with TF Sport in their 97 entry with Jonathan Adam, Ahmed Al-Hardy, and Tom Canning. And then you have Garage 59 also there on the end.
By Andrew Kirkgildy.
You got 2 cars. You got Maxim Martin and Alex Wesson, the TBA driver for the first entry. The second one, you have Mike Benham, Marvin Kirchhofer, and then a TBA driver in the second. Yeah, that's so far that's the teams that are currently confirmed for the Asian Le Mans Series.
4 races,
Yeah.
2 weekends, 1 champion. Should be fun.
Yep.
But we'll have to wait till that happens. And unfortunately, the Asian Le Mans Series can only be ran at Yas Marina Circuit due to all the barriers involved with travel.
Yeah.
COVID-19.
So at this point, it's a short season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a short
season.
season. It's really short compared to usual. Usually we don't have 4 races at the same track. But it's a short season compared to usual. But at least that's just for 2021, the 2021 season. 2022 might be different for the Asian Le Mans Series.
I wonder if they're going to use the full Yas Marina Circuit too. The Yas
I
Marina
know.
Circuit. And everyone seemed to give flack after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was a little uneventful. I mean, it was just like another F1 race to me. And a turf track. Tilke track. I mean, Herman Tilke at the track.
Well, the thing about F1 races at bad tracks, it's I don't know about the track. I know for F1 it's boring, but those types of cars are different than F1 cars because it's the same thing with say, oh, this track's boring in an F1 race, but the F2 race there is more exciting because it's basically depends how the car is. It's if that, example, it's people say, oh, Russia's bad. F2 at Russia is better than F1 at Russia. It's F2 cars are better at certain tracks than F1 because F1 cars are.
The track design is the Herman Tilke tracks are too flat. Possibly, but Thomas Bertram in the chat. Short racing season is better than no season at all. Absolutely, I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah, because I don't. Racing season short season, it's better than no races at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I know I'm a NASCAR fan, but I watch other motorsports.
I think we
Like,
all do.
yeah, like there's some that don't don't pay attention. It's like the people that think there's overtime in the Indy 500.
Oh
Those
my god.
or people saying about races ending under caution, like those people. But I actually pay attention to the rules of a lot of motorsports.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah,
Have your mind open.
yeah.
So the Dubai 24-hour entry list hasn't changed since we last joined the podcast for the 2021 edition of the race, which is on the 15th and 16th of January. 57 cars overall, 38 cars classified under GT-like banners, and 19 of them classified under TCEs or touring car-like regulations. 57 cars overall. More drivers have been confirmed. We're still yet to find out who will join the missing spots for teams such as GRT Grasser Racing Team, Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Usually bring their factory driver lineup to the race, and the Belgian Audi Club Team WRT most likely will feature drivers from their factory Audi program. Just wait and see. Almost there. The Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona entry list still not out yet. We don't have like an official entry list, but we know the drivers that are going to race for some, and for others that are
some entry
teams.
Some are still TBA. So
yeah, some are figuring out their drivers right now.
Yeah, it's still December 28th. We still have
We got
time.
a long way to go.
Yeah, and also a thing that people are getting worried. IMSA's TV schedule has not been announced.
Oh boy.
I'm looking on. Usually, you would see it on IMSA's website. It just says Track Pass, but no network yet. So, IMSA has to figure out their TV deal for NBC at one point, because that would.
The NHL returns on January 13th. In the States, only NBC Universal is the national TV carrier for the National Hockey League.
That's true, but
what does that mean for IMSA? Where same thing applies. Same thing applies for IMSA, where it's just NBC covering
also
TV events.
IndyCar
and IndyCar.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But, and let's not forget the AMA Supercross series that comes back on the 16th.
Like, it's just like there's so many like networks. Like, there's networks like Fox. At least Fox doesn't have much major. The only major thing they air is the NFL or
the World Series.
Yeah,
they have the World Series. All the games on Fox.
Yeah, but that's during the Truck Series, like in October. But I'm talking about when the Cup and Xfinity are also broadcast by Fox. There's not much sports on Fox Sports except
UFC.
Yeah,
you're missing out. UFC.
Yeah,
UFC and PCB and PBC.
Yeah, those. Yeah, during that, like, there's not much on Fox compared to NBC.
But
like
NBC Universal. I mean,
they're
Fox is like the last 5 years because Xfinity's part of NBC Universal, and for many years, other carriers have been threatened of such networks to be losing ties with their carriers. Like, it seems like every year AT&T gets a little warning, like, warning, call your provider now and make sure you keep CBS and NBC on your network.
Yeah,
it seems like every year that same thing happens, and it doesn't happen.
But the thing is, it's like, I don't know what they're trying to get. It's like I have like Canadian TV is different than Americans, but I still have U.S. channels like Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC. But other than that, I have like the thing that's interesting. Where I live, some TV networks are owned by companies.
Yes, and what do you think those companies?
Like, they
make decisions.
Like CTV, which is a news channel, TSN, which airs NASCAR, is owned by Bell Media. And then Rogers' side that they own is basically Sportsnet, or the channel that wanted to put IndyCar races on their
And they hold the
premium
strings
channel.
to Hockey Night in Canada, CBC.
Yeah, it's basically, it's like there's rival between TV deals, but it's like NBC's like has like, oh, we're gonna broadcast this and this and this and also it's like IndyCar, like it's kind of bad. NBC already knows their IndyCar. They've known their IndyCar schedule since before the season ended. They don't even know IMSA's TV schedule, and we're almost at the start of the IMSA season.
Judson Racing Network, how's it going? I see here he says that NASCAR does a horrible job with their home tracks. They take ARCA race as is a week before, and now the night before the Daytona 500 as the Xfinity race and New Smyrna Beach. Exact same night. I think NASCAR is trying to change things up just to make it a quicker procedure for the Daytona 500 this year. Am I 100% as a fan of that? Not really, but I understand.
Yeah, because it seems sometimes after remember the Daytona Speed Weeks at 2020 especially was tiring because they had to stay till Monday because the race got postponed. That like everything about it, it's like the Speed Weeks of 2020 were it was just an interesting Speed Weeks with.
It was okay until, of course, the rain happened because it's 2020. There had to be rain on the Daytona 500 to dampen everything on that Sunday.
But I still remember, like, we had the ARCA race. Basically, we had the ARCA race with Clash practice and Daytona 500 practices on Saturday. Sunday, we had Daytona 500 qualifying, and we had the Clash. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had nothing. Thursday, we had truck practices. We had 2 truck practices and the cup practice, and then the duels. Friday, Xfinity practices, cup practices, and truck race and truck qualifying all on that Friday. The Saturday, the next day, we had cup practices, like to finish up the practices, Xfinity qualifying at the Xfinity race, and then the cup race the next day on Sunday. But then the lap 20 to 200, like the end of it, was put to Monday because the rain had to. But the rain, it's not like 2014 where we had the 6-hour, 22-minute rain delay in 2014.
Yeah.
That race was people complained because there was no big one until lap 138. Yeah, people complained because
I don't like fans who complain about lack of crashes. I think complaining about lack of crashes makes you lesser of a race fan, and I don't like. And myself, I'm not one to judge a person, but if someone judges lack of crashes as a reason for a race being bad, then maybe the problem might be you, the fan. It happens every race weekend at Talladega.
Yeah,
it's like the same time.
It's like
everyone's going super far. Oh, yeah, I should have done something else. Or
Daytona.
Yeah, it's like. Do you know what's kind of funny, Joseph? I remember before the week at Talladega for the June race, I remember you said, "Oh, lack of practice is going to ruin the race." There was not. It's kind of bad that without the race. Remember, in the race in the fall, we had big ones. In the spring, in June, remember that race? I remember, Joseph, you were worrying about, without practice, they're going to crash and all that. Most of the race.
They were fine. Opening lap, went up to speed.
They really were fine.
Yeah, we had a couple cars out, but the only big one that had many cars was the final lap when Truex and Boyer crashed. That's the only time we had a big one in that race. Other than that, was like 2-3 cars in a wreck. So basically, that race, everybody kept it clean.
Right, and the fall race, unfortunately, ended the complete opposite. We had controversies in the race, and in the finish, everybody One, we got green white checkers. Okay, green white checker. Well, NASCAR calls it overtime finish, and then all of a sudden, another attempt. They didn't make the white flag, so we'll do it again, and now we have 12 cars left, and all hell breaks loose on the final lap.
And people,
then the yellow line rule happens. This podcast bears that name, Below the Yellow Line podcast. Denny Hamlin goes below the yellow line. He wasn't penalized, and then Matt Benedetto penalized for blocking. It was a colossal.
And also, Buescher got penalized because Chase Elliott went. But the thing was, Chase Elliott literally went to NASCAR, which is like more weird. Like, you don't expect a driver to go to NASCAR and say, "Hey, penalize this driver." I remember when I heard that story, I'm like, I remember just seeing that, like, it was so, like, some races had more controversy than ever, but some people say, oh, it's boring. Like, not every race is supposed to be 3 wide finishes.
Right, but also, I think, what about the races that involve pit stops, green flag pit stops, multiple pit stops under green flag conditions, 2 tires, 4 tires, how many cars on the lead lap? Oh, just 7 cars on the lead lap. And then in the end, the driver and the team who put the best strategy together ends up in victory lane.
Yeah, it's like, I know people don't like multiple strategies, but to win a race, you can't always take 4 tires. I've said this, the podcast after Austin Dillon won at Texas in July, you can't always win by doing the same strategy.
Yeah.
You have to get it switched up.
Yeah, you can't always have the same strategy. Try something new. Take a risk. Basically, that's what I'm saying. You got to take a risk.
Let me talk at that point, Justin. When I was me as a Johnson fan, I used to think about it the same way. Did they ever switch up their strategy of winning races, or was it always still the same?
Yeah, it's like,
and that always really stuck in my head, and like, wow,
yeah, like, I remember like there's some crew chiefs that take risks, but some don't for some reason. Like, a crew chief that doesn't take much risk is Greg Ives, is one of them. 2017, I
Justin Racing Network, thanks for watching. And if you haven't, please subscribe to his channel. He has great content. You want to watch interviews with NASCAR drivers and former team members and big figures in the sport, Judson is the kid for you. And I say that because he's not even 14 yet.
Yeah.
He's got a long future as a NASCAR reporter. And if you were at the Snowball Derby, you probably ran into Judson numerous times, just like any other North Florida racetrack.
Like, I was saying about, like, the thing about strategies, you got to always try a new strategy. Like, you can't always take 4 tires every pit stop because
you got to save your sticker tires.
Yeah, if you're running 30th, you're not going to always, like, if you're running for a fast team, example, you're driving for Hendrick and you're running 25th, that's not a good place to run. Or
but if you drove for Spire and you're running 25th, that's considered a success.
Yeah, I remember, like, it's like, people say, oh, back markers can never lead laps. Corey LaJoie led some laps under green at Martinsville, same as J.J. Yaley driving for Rick Ware's Xfinity team at Martinsville. He led laps under green.
Are you talking about that was the Xfinity race?
Yeah, remember?
He was up to speed.
Yeah, in the 17, he led laps under green.
That was awesome.
Yeah, you never expect that, but like even some bad teams sometimes could be in the front. Like, we've seen Ty Dillon randomly run.
Well, as an example, to the backmarkers had success in 2020. What about the front runners who didn't have success? Johnny Sauter, the Truck Series champion.
Stuart Friesen
seemed to have everything go wrong. Stuart Friesen, another example. A lot of people came to forget that Stuart Friesen and Johnny Sauter are coming back next year in the Truck Series. And I think they're going to have a much, much better turnaround with a green flag jobs at Daytona.
Because it's
speaking of the Truck Series, Derek Kraus returning to Bill McAnally Racing for 2021. How about Derek Krause?
I feel like I know last year he was close to making the playoffs. I feel like this year he could have a better year because he has experience now.
Yeah.
Experienced crew chief with Matt Noyes, who used to be Ben Rhodes' crew chief, so he's experienced crew chief, and he knows most of these tracks, which really helps him for next year. Like, Derek Krause has talent, just to get that across your mind. I've seen him run when he used to be K&N West when he used to drive.
I think Derek Krause.
Yeah.
I think he overperformed.
Yeah. Like, Bill McAnally Racing, if people don't know, they didn't start racing in the truck series till 2018, 2019. They didn't start racing in the big series. They only used to run
They debuted in a few cup races out west.
Yeah, that was back in the day, but like now they're serious about running in the trucks, which they're going to have a second entry at Phoenix at the final truck race of the season. If people didn't know, for whoever does the best in the season gets one truck race. That's what Bill McAnally said. So whoever does the best in an ARCA West season, whoever has the most wins, basically whoever has the best stats in that season will drive that second Bill McAnally truck at Phoenix. That's what Bill McAnally's doing with that second truck, but at least Derek Krause is back for 2021.
Well, if he wants to be championship series, you got to keep Derek Krause. And Derek Krause was so close to making the playoffs. He was, I think, just shy of the 10 driver.
Yeah, he finished 11th in points. It was P11. He was close in that number 19 truck, but I feel like his experience in running a full truck season will really help him.
I think his 2020 season paid off.
Yeah.
So, keeping score with the NASCAR stuff, let's roll up to the Cup Series. Again, the Cup Series, of course, Daytona 500 entry list still not out yet, but we have a clearer picture for who's in the 500. Now we know Beard Motorsports will join Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson, the 2020.
I was about to say 2019.
The 2020 Daytona 300 champion and Xfinity Series regular.
Yep.
Beard Motorsports, Chevy team, they'll work together. The attempt, will be an attempt to the 2021 Daytona 500.
Yep, which they'll
just the right move.
I feel like it is. Like Beard Motorsports, they need a driver, obviously, because Brendan Gaughan retired. If people were living under a rock in 2020, Brendan Gaughan did retire. Remember, he planned his retirement for 2020, which Brendan Gaughan is 45 because he's born in 1975. Brendan Gaughan's been in the sport for a long time. Like after a while, you consider retirement. Like you're not always going to be running.
I think Beard Motorsports continuing their attempts at the big super speedways with Chevy will be a success. And Noah Gragson, if they make the 500, it will be a success. If they can't make the 500, then you just learn and move on. But
like Beard Motorsports, I heard anything about
7th place.
Yeah, and also the Chevy team. They have an RCR alliance with RCR, so they get Childress engines, which is better than not getting good engines. But it's like you need Daytona. I know you need the draft, but also you need a good engine. You can't have a Rick Ware engine in your car. That's not gonna. You need to stay in the.
You can't have a GP2 engine either, Justin.
No, you gotta be in. Like if you're gotta qualify. So Beard Motorsports, they need a good engine because they don't have points. They finished like 36th in owner points. They were one of the bottom teams with 76 points. They'll have to race their way in because they're low in points compared to
and they don't have a charter either.
Yeah, because they're a part-time team. They don't run full-time compared to other teams, but They're a
We're
part.
still uncertain with the other teams that might be in the 500 that might attempt the race.
But there's also an entry that's still unconfirmed, but there is rumors. The 38 Cup team.
Yes, Anthony Alfredo, rumored to possibly drive for Front Row Motorsports in the NASCAR Cup Series next year. Alfredo did a steady job at Richard Childress Racing
Yeah.
in 2020, and had he run for the championship, I wouldn't be shocked if Alfredo was a competitor for the 2020 Xfinity Series trophy. But move up to the Cup Series that fast?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, the thing about it, Front Row needs a driver at this point. They're not going to pull us because we're not even competing in late models. So
No, we don't drive the cars. They do.
Yeah, but also we're not fit compared to NASCAR drivers have to be fit to drive those. We're not, like, the thing is, Front Row needs another driver because Nemechek was to stay in the Cup Series or go to a better truck team. So Nemechek obviously decided to go for a better team. I didn't blame Nemechek being.
You know what, John Hunter Nemechek going in the Truck Series. Many people are speculative, like, oh, John Hunter's he's just not meant for the Cup Series. But I think John Hunter Nemechek did something many drivers these days don't consider.
Yeah.
And they haven't considered in years. Go back to the Truck Series, start over, and maybe something better will happen in the future.
Yeah.
I could give you an example. I mean, Ross Chastain's probably not the best example because he never really had that opportunity in Cup to revert back to the Truck Series or Xfinity. But John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, like Nemechek, like driving for.
I'll give you another example. Brian Vickers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like Brian Vickers, I remember he drove in Cup, but then he ran full-time for Gibbs in 2013. And then he went back to Cup full-time in 2014.
But what did he do in the 2013 Cup Series as a part-time driver? He won at New Hampshire.
Yeah, and the number 55.
That was Vickers' third and final NASCAR Cup Series win. A very popular one, for sure.
Wait, when was Michael Waltrip racing?
That was the last win for Michael Waltrip Racing as well.
And the last win for a number 55 in NASCAR, because after Michael Waltrip had the 55, Premium took that over, and obviously Premium Motorsports did not win with the 55. Sorensen got.
Brian Vickers won 3 races for 3 different teams, years apart.
Well, remember when Reed Sorensen qualified 12th at Talladega 2016? He was the fastest in round 1 in the 55 for Premium.
Back when they had rounds of qualifying for NASCAR in the Cup Series until Fontana of 2019 when everybody screwed that up.
So they're like
in Q3, no one took a time.
Oh, yeah, so they had to get Q2 times, and that put Austin Dillon on the pole. Then at least they have actual single file. Like
turn taking.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's better than. Remember when Daytona had group qualifying started in 2014? Remember the 2015 Daytona 500 qualifying? Clint Boyer and Reed Sorensen crashed. Ed Bob Labonte and J.J. Yaley got involved. Like, that's why we don't have pack qualifying at Daytona. That doesn't work.
All right, supercars. Any news in supercars? Yes, Thomas Randall, the Super 2 champion, will be part of the co-driver lineup. He'll pair with reportedly Lee Holdsworth at Tickford Racing, a multi-year contract at Tickford Racing, the Ford Mustang team in the supercars. Thomas Randall, Tickford Racing, not a bad decision, but he ain't racing full season. He's just a co-driver. Only time will tell. I think Thomas Randall is more than worthy of a ride in supercars.
Oh my, this is interesting. I just saw Fox Sports is planning to bring the Megalodon Sony camera, which they use in the NFL, to the Daytona 500. So they might use that camera shot during the 500, which is interesting because I know that people want NBC to be broadcasting every race. Well, maybe not anymore if you haven't heard about what NBC's reports of NBC recently, if people have not been paying attention about the reports of that. But the thing that I like about the start of a NASCAR season is always tuning in to Fox, because I prefer Fox over NBC. Like, there's many. No, I'm just like many reasons. Like, if there's a tape delay, like if there's rain, like example, Bristol 2017 was supposed to be Sunday on Fox, they put it on Monday, but on Fox. But NBC, they go to NBCSN. It's like little bit, or switching during a race, switching channels, like NBC to NBCSN or NBC to CNBC, stuff like that.
In F1 news, this created another release of controversy and anger from the fans. The Haas F1 reaffirmed their 2021 driver lineup. There'll be no changes. Nikita Mazepin's situation will be handled internally, as stated by the team, and
it's
just
for me. It's just like
it's unfortunate. I don't want to dwell on this too much because we think we know the severity of the situation, but it's very unfortunate that.
Well, it's like for me, it's just Haas is Haas.
But how will anyone else learn if one person can get away with such behavior off the racetrack that it's going to translate into an F1 seat as a rookie? Isn't there a better driver out there? I mean, look at Cal Lila, look at Robert Schwartzman, and yet they're picking Nikita Mazepin. I don't want to get into this.
But the thing is, Lila doesn't have money.
He doesn't have money.
Mazepin
but who has money?
Mazepin.
Nikita Mazepin, whose dad is a millionaire. Nikita Mazepin, who has the ride. Nikita Mazepin.
For me, it just doesn't matter.
I think it matters.
For me, it's just Haas F1. Any driver.
It doesn't. Listen.
Putting Mahavir Raghunathan in Haas? What? You want Mahavir in the car?
Listen. It doesn't.
For me, it's just
this is more of a serious subject. We can't have a scumbag drive a Formula One car without repercussions. If Gunther Steiner was a little more serious about the decisions he's been making for this team, then where is it? On one hand, you have Mick Schumacher, son of 7-time world champion Michael, who just won the championship. Who? What is there?
Well,
I don't know.
For me,
I don't think.
Well, it's like people get triggered by the letter V. It's a V. What does the letter V have to do with anything? Like people
has nothing to do with
No. People have saying that the thing is they're triggered by Nikita Mazepin with the letter V. The letter V doesn't have to do with it.
Okay. But what about the behavior that Nikita Mazepin has done without any repercussions, and yet?
But what behavior?
How is he going to represent 3 races won? And that is a question that I think fans need to ask themselves before the lights come out in March in Australia. I know the topic is severe. It's unfortunate. I wish there was a better outcome. I hope Nikita Mazepin learned his lessons. He will.
He will.
He'll eventually have to catch up to him. But if a hashtag is more than popular against you right now, I don't know.
He'll learn his lesson. He'll learn his lesson because he's not in the best team. He'll be like, I'm driving for the
worst team.
And he's what happened? Probably Haas will be worse than the Williams. That could be possible. That Haas is behind Williams. That could happen.
I mean,
Haas is just.
This is not much. I don't think it's much of a car problem as is of a character problem. Now the character, there. Listen, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, if Haas says they're handling the situation internally, then let's hope they actually are. Let's hope they will. Let's hope something good comes out of it, and Nikita Mazepin learns his lesson. Maybe. Earn some respect along the way. I'm not saying gain respect, but because respect is earned, it's not given for free, especially in motorsport. But in F1, money talks.
That's true. You need money in F1.
Just look at Lance Stroll. Look at some of the other drivers.
Well,
I don't want to continue this argument about F1 and the people involved. I mean, who was the guy that was doing that video of himself driving in a Lamborghini in traffic? Alessio Delara.
Oh, what was that? I know. That's quite stupid of him.
Probably passed more cars than he did on the actual racetrack.
Well,
the entire F3 season.
He was behind part-time drivers in points, and he was full-time.
Yeah, I remember that.
He finished 34th in points. Some part-time drivers finished like 25th, and he was 34th, just chilling in 34th place in points, and his teammates were just way faster than him, and he was chilling 34th in points, thinking that's good for Campos Racing.
Absolutely not.
Hence the reason why super license points exist, and maybe they should be given or taken from you depending on how you behave off the racetrack.
That's true.
At least Yuki Tsunoda has a ride. I wanted him to have.
Tsunoda has a ride, and I think he deserves a ride.
Of course he deserves a ride.
Tsunoda is concerned.
Yeah, he just his F2 season was so good, like
brilliant.
His first expect that out of a rookie driver in his first F2 season. He got third in points.
Did everything he needed to do to deserve an F1 ride, and it sucks that at the expense of Danny Kvyat that's happened, but that Tsunoda has his accomplishment and his ride at AlphaTauri. But again, just go back to looking at Haas. You have one driver who earned his spot in F1, and on the other hand, you have a driver who can't keep his off-track decisions to himself, and only time will tell. We'll still have about 3 months.
Yep.
Under 3 months till the lights come off at
Australia.
At Melbourne. Correct.
Yep. But we'll see. But we'll just see what happens on and off the track, and preseason testings in like 2 months for F1 at Barcelona. They always have their preseason testing, which people get bored of it being at the same track. Well, Barcelona is one of the tracks on the calendar, so which drivers always testing there before the season. And most teams want to try to bring a decent car, not the 2020 Ferrari, the SF1000. That car was bad, and it was bad in people like, oh, they brought a bad car just for testing. No, that was their actual car for 2020.
We have 23 rounds next year.
It's gonna
Formula One. It's gonna be crazy
compared to the normal 22. Usually,
I think people think 20 races.
Yeah.
Enough.
23. It's like, I just realized 23 races. That's one more race than the NASCAR truck season, which the truck season's 22 races. It's like, yeah, it's going to be a long season. There's obviously going to be off weeks during the F1 season because they got to go to more countries than NASCAR just They go to Canada once and they stay in the United States, compared to F1 where they go to every continent except Africa. That's the only continent that they don't go. And Antarctica, no, they don't go racing there.
I have a meme. I found a meme on the internet from an Antarctica Grand Prix, like in the Formula One social media, saying F1's going to Antarctica.
Oh
But
my gosh!
in all seriousness, if their campaign is really re-race as one, then maybe they should have another look at the venues they're going to, and one of their drivers in their 20 driver lineup. But that's up to the FIA, and let's let them make that decision.
Yeah, because we're not the FIA. We don't make the decision. If we're not the FIA, definitely, because
but it's not the first nor last time that they've been in contrast with the fans and in the public eye. But either or, we're still in the off season. There's plenty of time between now and in March.
Yep.
The World Endurance Championship, going back to sports car racing for a moment, WEC is still slated for a 6-round schedule beginning in Sebring for the 1,000 miles of Sebring on the 19th of March, 6 hours of Spa, the 2021 Le Mans 24 hours in the 12th of June, 12th and 13th. On July 18th, we'll have the 6 hours of Monza, the 6 hours of Fuji on September 26th, and the 6 hours of Bahrain to close the season on November 20th.
Huh. I just realized that the Le Mans 24 is going to be at the same week as the Texas All-Star race, the 12th to the 13th, which at least the good thing about the Texas All-Star race, it's after Le Mans on Sunday. But Xfinity and trucks will be at the same time.
Anyone could just run the 24 hours of law, just fly over on Sunday night to run the All-Star race?
Like, we have the Open at 6 Eastern, and then the All-Star race at 8 on Sunday, 8 Eastern on Sunday, which is interesting that the All-Stars on a Sunday night, which is, Texas has lights, obviously. They're not Talladega, because Talladega doesn't have lights.
People want a Talladega race at a Texas Motor Speedway, which, I'm sorry, fans, you ain't getting one at Texas Motor Speedway. You'll get drag and downforce and clean air and
but it's like
invincible parachutes slowing down the cars. But you're not going to get Talladega racing at Texas Motor Speedway.
No, that would be like, there's not pack racing like that. That's like, I know that people do it in iRacing, but iRacing is not NASCAR. I know it's a sim.
Setups.
Yeah, it's like, for me, like, I know that there's like dirty air, and it's actually kind of replicated in video games. I don't know how Heat 4 and Heat 5 are basing, like, I remember I was playing NASCAR Heat 4 at one point. I was trying to chase down my teammate Cole Custer. I catched him, but I couldn't pass, not just because dirty air, because right as you get in the draft, I don't know why, the car just wants to go right instead of left. I have my car on the loosest setup, so instead of turning left, my car goes up there. I'm like,
it feels like it's bottoming out on you.
Yeah, when I'm in the draft of someone, and like it's the
a
same.
single group racetrack.
But it's also the thing. But at least in real life, the frames. I know frames per second, because what if? And now I having these problems on Heat 5, where for me Martinsville, if I had my, there's a little mirror. If I have that on, the frames are dipping like so badly. It's like, it's just. But at least real life, nothing's.
You don't lose frames per second in real life racing until they implement online racing.
It's
like NASCAR's trying to push.
Yeah, it's like in the online races. Well, remember when Denny Hamlin lagged out for a second, or remember when Denny Hamlin's daughter turned off the TV when he was racing at Talladega in the Invitational Pro Series at Talladega. It's like online is different than real life, which is true.
Speaking of real life racing, we'll highlight IndyCar one more time in this podcast. 17 races still confirmed. Only difference now, the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach and the streets of Long Beach has been moved.
Yeah.
Moved to the end of September as the ending of the season as it stands now.
That's
because you really can't do anything in California.
But also, it's just there's always restrictions and stuff, and people not listening in this world.
I mean, hey, we got the streets of St. Petersburg running in October this year with ease, fans and campers and everybody.
Yeah, but people are still, but there's the same people that are trying to annoy. It's like the people at the Chili Bowl.
We apologize. Denny does have internet problems tonight.
Yeah. Remember the Chili Bowl when people were saying, "Oh, I don't want to wear a mask." Shit, like the Tulsa.
Well, hey, they're racing indoors. Okay, they're actually indoors. The Tulsa Expo Center is an indoor arena.
Yeah, but people are saying, but the thing is, it's like people are eating.
The Tulsa government actually made that a mandate before the chili happened.
But like putting a mask on indoors, I have to do that because at my work, like I put it at work. I'm not passed out on the floor. No, you're not passed out on the floor after putting a mask on. You're not going to be passed out on the floor. You can still breathe. Like
anyone who passes out on the floor needs to see a psychiatrist.
Yes, go to the doctors if you pass out.
Okay. It's a racing show. Let's keep it a racing show.
It's like we got there's still races to be confirmed. It's like that.
Right, but
F1 example, the TV to be confirmed race don't know where that's going to be at. I don't even know when they're going to decide what that track is going to be. It just says TBC. It's like, what? Are you going to randomly take a draw at the first race of the season at Australia?
The Miami City Grand Prix. Let's bring that conversation back.
Like, we need to have a racetrack there. You can't just say TBC the whole time and the fans don't know what track.
I want to go to F1 race badly. Let's get F1 in Miami. Don't make me go to Montreal. I want to go to Miami and watch an F1 race from an hour. It would be fun.
But F1 is it costs a lot.
People were at the Super Bowl this year, literally walking around with signs saying "Say no to F1" and
what?
I mean, with everything that happened in 2020, I think their little march really meant nothing in the end. But
it's like.
But we still have a race in other places where it ain't 100%.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get Danny back. But
Chili Bowl Nationals entry list, and people didn't know it's almost. I think now we're at like near 300 entries now.
Did we hit the 300 mark yet? I think we might hit it.
We're really close. Last time I checked, it was on the 23rd. We were at 298. So basic, and I saw added entry, so we must be near in the 300 mark. But we have a lot of entries. Holy. A lot of drivers from NASCAR, obviously, including Ryan Newman, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., J.J. Yaley.
Dirt regulars.
The dirt regulars, but you also have Chase Elliott. His first time running the Chili Bowl Nationals. He's running. You have a lot of drivers. David Gravel, Brad Sweet. All these drivers, just Chase Briscoe. Like, you have all these drivers, just...
Everyone wants a piece of glory. So they go to Tulsa each January and try to make the big race. Now, making the race is tougher than winning the race, because once you're in, then, of course, you get a chance to win the race. But making it is difficult on its own. And that's where the competition really, really strikes.
Yeah. Like, the Chili Bowl, my first Chili Bowl watching it was actually 2018 when MAV TV Canada existed where I live. So that was my first. Last year was my second one in 2019. 2020 was actually my third one, which I remember the 2021 when the 2020 Chili Bowl was the series, the Chili Bowl has always been an interesting race.
Always.
It's like there's also the Tulsa Shootout before, which is actually pre-recorded if you watch it off Map TV. But other than that, there's always the great racing because, like, the racing.
Yeah, it will be exciting for sure. And in the end, fans always get their money's worth. And that's why people watch the Chili Bowl. It's an off-season classic for NASCAR fans.
Yeah. It's like
how many years did Kyle Larson need to win that race? And how many races has Kyle Larson won just this year on a dirt track? By hundreds, you can't even count them anymore. Yeah. It took Kyle Larson 13 years to win the Chili Bowl. Now, think about it. 13 years of Kyle Larson attempting the Chili Bowl. I don't know how many years he made the main event, but when he made the event, I know last 2 years, almost 2 years ago, 2019, Christopher Bell snatched it from him on the final lap. It looked like Larson had it in the back.
But the year before that, 2018, Larson blew up while leading. In 2018, it's like stuff like that.
It started turning into a Dale Earnhardt versus Daytona 500 situation, and then eventually on his 13th try, Larson won the Chili Bowl with ease.
Like I remember, one of the reasons I always remember the Chili Bowl in 2020 was one of the first times, 2019 and 2020, a thing that, I was on Skype, one of the, because, I remember Ian's, hyped to do reactions and all that. I remember watching it
was a Tulsa shootout, and
the first.
It was pretty funny. It was cool.
Where's
the best for Alex and Artie, by the way? He's still reportedly recovering, and he's just a hero.
Yeah.
Amazing. Made a steal just to. He's still around, recovering from a terrible injury in a handbike accident 6 months ago, and he's expected to make a full recovery. Let's hope for the best. And it's the end of the year. We reached the end of this podcast, episode 91. We have reached the end of 2020. 2020, it's done.
Yep. The last podcast on my old laptop. Yeah, my laptop's quite old, so 2021 is.
Any New Year's resolutions? I know I like to ask that stupid question, but
I know one thing. I'm actually gonna start losing some weight. Because I also work, which my job requires me to move a lot because I have to get shopping carts from outside to inside, and sometimes when it's really busy, you kind of need shopping carts because a lot of people need shopping carts. So you got to do your job. Some people just are kind of slow and don't bring in carts as much, so. My job requires that, so I'm going to start losing some weight. Yeah.
My New Year's resolution, just to go back to school, finish my degree, and hopefully we'll improve this channel, we'll improve this podcast, and I think the whole world needs a New Year's resolution. Let's get everything that happened in 2020 and not replicate that in 2021, and everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Happy Hanukkah. Wish everyone a happy New Year.
Yep.
And for Daniel Ford, Justin Hebert, I'm Joe Laney Pavlon. For one last time in 2020, signing off. Have a good night.